Dear meat sacks, aliens, and androids, I proudly present to you Spacebase Startopia. It will be breathtaking.
You're breathtaking!
Help us, Commander. Commander, I hope you had a pleasant trip. Welcome to Spacebase Startopia, a donut-shaped burgeoning funhouse of cold, hard steel. Organic cell clusters may find a place to live, work, and relax here, like Gary here. Hello, Gary. Our 3 unique decks leave nothing to be desired for well-traveled space captains of any species. Whether you're seeking comfort or thrills, Spacebase Startopia is always your best choice. To keep Startopia the paradise it is, the tireless buzzer droids are always at work. Even a utopia can have its problems, so every now and then there can be issues. But I guarantee you that any genetic anomalies and minor duplication errors are entirely within the acceptable range for an AI such as myself. You can trust me to take good care of you. Except Gary. I never liked Gary. What are you waiting for, Commander? Spacebase Startopia is waiting for you. Oh, before you unpack, please can you present a valid boarding pass?
Start greeting. Welcome back, Commander.
Start greeting. Welcome back, Commander.
Start greeting. Welcome back, Commander.
Start greeting. Welcome back, Commander. Welcome to Spacebase Startopia Test Center, Commander. I hope you had a good flight. It all began with a misunderstanding. When the Telgorian fleet first encountered a representative of the Neophytic Alliance, they sent a bouquet of their most beautiful native flowers as their usual greeting. The only problem, the extremely nature-loving dryads took a bouquet of dead flowers as a declaration of war. This encounter marked the beginning of the first major interspecies conflict in the Alma Barid Quadrant. It lasted for approximately 400 years. Since most of the races did not have access to FTL technology at that time and their weapons technology can generally be regarded as primitive, the armed conflict was often limited to threats, verbal attacks and illegal littering. The production of the Universal Translator developed by the RFS Consortium helped to settle the conflict and led to peace talks being initiated. Also additional potential grounds for conflict, such as Europer's Great Dolphin Barbecue. The Celebramer's gigantic space loudspeakers and other trivialities to also be nipped in the bud. So much for history, recruit. Let's get back to your real job here at the RFS Consortium's Tear Test Lab. This lab is not only designed to house a highly sophisticated artificial intelligence called Val, which would be me, in case you've forgotten that in the last few minutes, as my brain scan suggests, but is also responsible for the Startopia project. The goal of Startopia is to create multi-purpose space bases capable of being used by all alien species as places of encounter and exchange. And, of course, to earn a huge amount of energy to cover the exorbitant salaries of the RFS board. Recruit, you have been selected to work in the Startopia Base Simulator, or SBS for short, to acquire the knowledge necessary to run such a Startopia base. But before you can do so, you must go through the RFS Executive Motivation Training course. You can do it. You're a born leader. We believe in you. Fanfares, congratulations. You have successfully completed the Commander training course and are now entitled to take the final exam on the simulator. Good luck, Commander. Welcome to your first test scenario, Commander. I'm very curious to see how you will cope. This simulation includes a Startopia base orbiting the garbage planet Sarkar. And I quote from the Universal Database, disgusting cesspit that should find its deserved end in a black hole. Initiate welcome protocol. Welcome, Commander. I am confident that even a carbon-based life form will be able to cope with the very manageable parameters of this scenario. After all, it's all about collecting garbage. A fuzzy with only limited functionality previously solved this scenario in less than 20 minutes. I therefore assume that you will be able to complete it within a few hours. Test subject evaluation started. Command R, commence operations. Commander, you have just successfully built your first garbage bot. A thing that one tries to fill with other things, but which reaches its maximum capacity much too quickly. Wait, are we talking about you and your training here? Excuse me, my routine small talk subprocessor seems to be malfunctioning. Excellent work, Commander. I see you've managed to build a communication center. I mean, you created a simple construction order for your fuzzies and then they did all the work. Sarcasm speech module not found. Bravo. Commander, it appears to have escaped your severely limited cognitive abilities that aliens mostly want to satisfy their basic needs in a berth. A berth that you have not yet built. Garbage bots that bite. Very well, what can go wrong? Commander, your recycling station sparkles and shines. This is mainly due to the fact that it is not yet operational because you have not yet hired any Telgor. Congratulations on your birth, Commander. In all test scenarios to date, in the established standard procedures and in the Starbases for Underachievers manual, it is actually built before anything else as the base room. I can already see, convention and traditions are not your thing. I'll make a note of that in your personnel file just in case. Commander, I compliment you on the beautiful communications center you've had built. However, it will be useless without Bugrathorians there to operate it. I strongly suggest you hire a few members of this alien species. Commander, your recycling station will not operate without hired Telgor. Please try to show at least a minimum of competence and get it taken care of. Commander, fanatics from the terrorist organization Trashbeast have discovered a subatomic quantum loophole in our shield and have beamed garbage bombs on board. If they explode, they will cause damage and spread garbage throughout the area. But you can rest easy in the knowledge that it can't harm me. Initiate bomb subprotocol Alpha. Commander, trash fanatics have managed to successfully detonate a garbage bomb. Excellent work, Commander. You have acquired the required amount of energy. You did it with the berth and not the recycling station, but at least it's something. I hope you... Commander, I would like to congratulate you on the 50th visitor to your simulated station. If this were reality rather than a test scenario, the time frame would be rather unacceptable. Here, however, you are working within a simulation under optimal conditions. So the time frame is completely unacceptable. Look out, Commander. Trash fanatics have thrown bombs at the station. Commander, I'm beginning to think you're deliberately allowing those garbage bombs to explode. Do you enjoy that? Does it make you happy? Eventual mental disorder detected. Electroshock therapy to be noted in personnel file. Commander, recycling the garbage bombs is an excellent idea. Only 99.3% of all other candidates came up with this solution. I suggest you try recycling a larger amount of these garbage bombs in order to make the test scenario more exciting. Congratulations, Commander, you have successfully achieved the goal and generated the required amount of energy. Some doubted your success, while others objected that you could not fail in this test scenario. I replied that if there is a way to fail in this scenario, you will find it. Nevertheless, you have successfully completed this scenario. Congratulations, Commander. Command R, I want to congratulate you on successfully completing the first test scenario. Only the most petty-minded subprocessor would notice that there was no fail option in the previous mission. Let us now turn to the second test scenario. This simulated Startopia station is located in orbit around Jupilberry 3. Initiate welcome protocol. Welcome to the second test scenario, Command R. As mentioned at the beginning, you now have access to the biodeck to grow plants and create a cozy atmosphere for your visitors. In this scenario, you can expect more sick aliens on board, where a lack of treatment can result in a premature death. Command R, commence operations. Commander, you did acceptable work with the bombs in the last test scenario. RFS feels that such trivialities must be rewarded with more than just a virtual damp handshake, so a recycling station crate is hereby placed at your disposal. Commander, the medical station has been successfully completed. Now you can take care of your visitors' little problems, such as rashes or imminent death. Carbon-based life forms are notoriously fragile. An employee has just quit. One of your employees has quit. You should be aware that a critically ill alien has come to visit. Ensure their quick treatment in the medical station. Commander, you actually managed to heal your critically ill visitor. Okay, of course you yourself didn't lift a finger, at best it was your gray employees, but still. Commander, I'm fascinated by your efforts in building atmosphere filters. Personally, I find them a complete waste. Oxygen-based life forms are so inflexible. Commander, a very ill alien with a severe form of leupolioitis has arrived at the station. You should ensure that this visitor is treated quickly as the disease is highly contagious. Prevent your visitors from being harmed at all costs. Commander, you might want to pay a little more attention to the station ratings. Your current rating is below average, just like the rest of your career. Congratulations are in order, Commander. You've performed reasonably well in this test scenario. Hats off. I shall record your mediocre actions in the Monument of Shame immediately. That's what I call your personnel file, Commander. You don't have to understand, it's an amusing data packet that goes back and forth between my sarcasm processor and my evaluation routine. Welcome to the final test, Command R. This third and final test scenario involves a Startopia base orbiting the planet Parturius 22. The galactic database has the following information about the planet. The residents of Parturius 22 are a decadent party people who use dance steps as currency. For example, a bottle of wine there costs a 3-minute waltz. Welcome to the simulated orbit of Parturius 22, Commander. I by no means wish to increase your stress level, but of course much depends on this final test scenario. Failure to complete it would result in a drastic shortening of your career. To exactly 1 millisecond after your failure, to be precise. But well, frankly I'm not very confident, as my evaluation algorithm gives you about a 40% chance of not failing in the first 5 minutes. I don't think I need to remind you of the importance of this scenario. Commander, your goal is to get the fun deck on board this Startopia base up to speed, please the visitors, and earn a reasonable amount of energy on the side. Command R, commence operations. Commander, I discovered a note in my files scheduled for deletion that you fulfilled an optional triviality in the previous test scenario. According to the RFS, such trivialities should also be rewarded, so I'm increasing your ration of nutrient slime and will provide you with a crate. Very good, Commander. You have hired a celebramer to work in the disco. This fun-loving species will now ensure that the other more introverted aliens get their money's worth. You should know that there are anti-fun demonstrators in this galaxy who try to sabotage our work. It appears explosives have been placed on the fun deck. You might want to look into that. Excellent, Commander. Your fuzzies will immediately begin the transformation. According to recent surveys, visitors find Startopia quite acceptable overall. Commander, it would appear that something has lured energy thieves aboard. These perfidious individuals set up illegal energy absorbers which then siphon off some of the energy earned in the surrounding area. Logically, this makes it more difficult for you to fulfill the mission objective, Commander. Of course this is perfectly obvious, but I thought that in your case I should emphasize it once again, explicitly. Very well, Commander, a group of radical party poopers from Partirius 22 has come aboard and planted bombs on your fun deck. Rest assured, I am in no danger. Commander, you have managed to build an arcade station where simulated aliens now play simulated simulations. Rather amusing when you stop to think about it, isn't it? Commander, there's been an explosion on the fun deck. My sensors detect that the Starcats Cafe has been completed? Very good. I would quickly like to point out the increased concentration of pathogens in this environment, Commander. Not that it concerns me as an electronic, and therefore distinctly superior being, but perhaps you'd like to take advantage of that information. Commander, the black hole drop has completed construction. From now on your visitors can scream their souls out there. Have fun. Congratulations, Commander. You actually survived the test scenario. Please forgive my negative interjections during the interim. That was only to determine how you would react in stressful situations. Oh, and there's one more point I need to address. In fact, Commander, that was not the last test scenario. This misinformation was also used to create a stress situation. From now on I will of course not give you any more incorrect information. So, once again, congratulations. If you are ready, we can move on to the next test scenario. Welcome, Commander. This test scenario involves a Startopia base orbiting the planet Cerberus 42. The galactic database describes it so. The Cerberus system was used by the Interplanetary Republic as a centralized repository for unpopular subjects, such as criminals and whistleblowers. The crime rate here is 99% with a 1% margin of error. Initiate Welcome Protocol. Welcome to the simulated orbit of Cerberus 42, Commander. This test scenario has some very exciting situations in store for you. My evaluation processor can hardly wait to log your failure. Make sure you are familiar with the latest advances in technology to gain access to the security station and the brig as soon as possible. Only then can you devote yourself to the real goal. To give you a little jumpstart, you already have some initial prestige as well as a few room crates. Command R, commence operations. I hope you can get results in this scenario faster than in the previous deadline overrun, Commander. Commander, seeing as you didn't fail completely in the previous scenario with the HEDs, it seems that according to the ridiculous RFS statutes you are entitled to some sort of reward.